Yesterday, we have talked about the parts of speech: definition, nouns, pronouns, verbs, then adjectives, adverbs, preposition, conjunction, interjection, and now in detail study, we are understanding noun. Yesterday, we have learned that a noun can perform or it can activate the action of the verb. It is the subject. Yes. Then noun can function as an object, and as I have told you earlier, there are direct object, indirect object, or the object of a preposition. These are the things it is very important for us to understand as far as MCQs in the NDA or the National Defense Academy is concerned. So each and every part is very important. You have to pay attention to you. Now let me take you to the screen, please. Who is the host today, my dear students? Good morning to you all.
Sir, allowed.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Ritesh, Aryan, then Sid, Aditya, Vedant, Shreyash, Chandrasekhar, Vaibhav, Aryan, and our Rishikesh sir from Asta Defense Academy, then Aditya, Kunal, Roshan, Ratnadev, good, Pratik, then Rahul, all you people are there. So I welcome you all in the class of English grammar, especially for the preparation of National Defense Academy. Now, let me take you to good afternoon, Rushikesh sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all. Thank you, Rushikesh sir. Thank you. Good. So, let me share the screen. Yes, there are three types of objects: the direct object, indirect object, and object of a preposition. So, dear students, subject and object, because a noun can perform itself as a subject sometimes, and sometimes it can perform itself as an object. So both the things we must know. So now we will say some of the times in the subject part or some of the times in predicate part that we have discussed yesterday. So let's talk about the direct object. Direct object. Uh, the same example we should take here so that we will understand the noun can perform as a subject and it also can perform as an object. Let me take the same example so that you will find the differences, the placements of these two, what is subject and what is object. Actually both are nouns. The dog chased the cat. The dog chased the cat. Then Mary reads a book. Reads a book. Mary reads a book every week. Every week. Here, a book. A book. Very important thing we are learning, dear students. Here you will see in the first example, uh, direct objects are what receive the action of the verb in a sentence or clause. Actually, these are the objects, cat and a book here. Actually, in last period we have seen the dog was the subject. It is a noun. But this cat is also a noun. Noun can function itself as an object, and there are three objects that we have seen earlier. So, when an object receives the action of the verb, maybe in a sentence or in a clause, the noun which receives the action in a clause or maybe in a sentence, that noun is functions itself as an object, and that object is a direct object. That object is a direct object. Look at here, the the dog chased the cat here. The noun cat is receiving the action of the verb. The noun cat, this cat is receiving the action of the verb chased, right? Chased. So this noun cat is an object, and it is a direct object. It is a direct object. In the next example, in the direct example, in the next example, Mary reads a book every week. Mary reads a book every week. The noun book is receiving the action of the verb read. This noun, a book, receives. This noun here is an object, and this object receives the action of the verb read. That's why it is direct object. When an object receives the action of a verb at that time, that object can be called as the direct object. And dear friends, this is very important for the correct sentence, because in our examination, sentence improvement MCQs are also there. Secondly, active voice and passive voice, where this direct object and indirect object are also important. To keep that view in mind, we have to learn what direct object, indirect object, and object of a preposition is. It is must for us to understand. Then Next is indirect object. It was about the direct object. Now let's learn about the direct object. Indirect objects. Indirect object. Indirect object. Now indirect object. Place plus place plus plus Kunal Kunal the salt. Hello. Salt. Next example, I sent the company an application for the job. I sent the company sent the company I sent the company an application for the job. For the job. Here in the next example, you will see application. Dear students, you pay attention. Here, there are two objects now in the first sentence. There are two objects. One is Kunal and other is salt. Here you will see this object receives the action of the verb pass. Please pass Kunal the salt. Salt is a noun and Kunal is also noun. Kunal is also noun. But this object which salt receives the action of the verb pass. So this is direct object. This is direct object and Kunal is indirect object. In the next example, you will see I sent the company an application for the job. I sent the company an application. I sent the company. I sent the company. I sent the company. I sent the company an application for the job. Here, in both the examples, you will see I sent the company an application for the job. So an application receives the action of the verb sent, right? Yes. So application is direct object. Here salt is direct object and Kunal and company are the indirect objects. An indirect object is the person or thing who receives the direct object of the verb. Again, look at here. An indirect object is the person or thing who receives the direct object of the work. Indirect object is a person or thing who receives the direct object of the verb. Actually, this is the direct object verb pass, and is this indirect object receives the this indirect object receives the direct object. Okay, but direct object receives the action of the verb. Indirect object does not receive the action of the verb. It receives the direct object of the verb. Are you getting point? So direct object receives the action of the verb. Indirect object does not receive the action of the verb. Instead, direct object receives the action of the verb, and indirect object, instead of receiving the action of the verb, it receives the direct object of the verb. Receives the direct object of the verb. So that's why here Kunal and company are the indirect objects. Why they are indirect object? Because why they are indirect objects? Because they receives the direct object. They does not receive the action of the verb. Who receives the action of the verb? The direct object. This is the point. So indirect objects are those objects who receive the direct object of the verb, and direct object receives the action of the verb. In the first sentence, you will see, please pass Kunal the salt. The proper noun Kunal is receiving, not it receiving the action of the verb. No, it does not receive the action of the verb. Kunal receives the direct object salt, right? Which receives the action of the verb pass. And that salt receives the action of the verb pass. Here you can, in simple words, very simple, Kunal indirect object who receives the direct object. Finish. And direct object receives the action of the verb. In the next example, I send the company an application for the job. An application is direct object because it receives the direct action of the verb. But company, this indirect object, receives the direct object. It does not receive the action of the verb. Very simple. So the noun company is receiving the direct object application, and that application, which is the direct object, receives the action of the verb send. Very simple. And now next very important part of regarding the objects is objects of prepositions. Objects of prepositions. Objects. Object of prepositions. Object of preposition. Firstly, we understood direct object. Second, we understood indirect object. And now objects of preposition. So here objects, the noun is the object of the preposition. Okay. Now verb is not mentioned here. Noun will be the object. In the first and second examples, uh, means indirect and indirect object, those nouns were the object. Okay, but in the direct object, it in the direct object, that object receives the action of the verb, and in indirect object, that object receives the direct object. But here, in objects of preposition, object or the noun will be the object of preposition here, and that's why it is called objects of prepositions. For example, very simple to understand, but your careful attention is important, dear students. Very important part as far as our English skills are concerned. Here, look at here. Your backpack is under the table. Your backpack is under the table. Your backpack is your backpack is under the table. Is under the table. And next, next, I'm looking for work. I'm looking for work. Looking work. Here, now, dear students, look at here. Objects of preposition. In both the sentences, under is a preposition. And in the next example, this is also for is a preposition. For is a preposition. In the first example, this under is a preposition. Under is a preposition. Next, let me tell you, table is a noun. This table is a noun. And in the second example, this work is also a noun. So under is a preposition and work is under is a preposition and the table is a noun. In the next example, for is a preposition and work is a noun. Earlier, again and again, I'm telling you the differences between the direct object, indirect object, and objects of prepositions. Right here, you will see the table has become the object of this preposition under. It has become the object of this preposition under, and that's why very simply it is very simple. A table is the objects of preposition under, and that's why table is objects of preposition. In the next example of this, work has become the object of the preposition for, and that's why work is a noun, it is an object, and it is an object of preposition, right? So dear students, nouns are also used after prepositions to create prepositional phrases. When a noun is part of a prepositional phrase, when noun is a part of a prepositional phrase, it is known as the object of the preposition. So here in the first example, under the table, this is a prepositional phrase, and forward, this is again a prepositional phrase. And in both the prepositional phrases, in the first example, table has become the object of the preposition under, and in the second example, work has become the object of the preposition for. So your backpack is under the table. The noun table is the object of the preposition under, which creates the prepositional phrase under the table. And in the next example, I'm looking for work. I'm looking for work. The noun work is the object of the preposition for, which creates the prepositional phrase for work. Very good. Then we are completely talking about the noun. We are completely talking about the noun. Noun can function as the subject, it can function as the object, and under the object section, it can function as direct object, indirect object, and object of preposition. So now let's see the predicate noun. The predicate noun. The predicate noun. There are mainly two parts of a sentence, one subject part and predicate part. It is said that noun can be there in the subject part, noun also can be there in the predicate part. Very good. So let's see. Predicate, predicate, predicate nouns. Predicate nouns. Predicate nouns. Each and every part is very important. Sentence improvement, your close test, your filling the blanks, then your comprehension, so many things are there in examination or the MCQs. So each and every part of your grammar skill is important along with the synonyms and antonyms, phrases and idioms, everything. The forms of the words, their placements, their parts of speech, everything is very important. There are lakhs of students appearing for the uh, NDA examination because it is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission. And you are one of them. You should be, you must be one of them who is a successful students or who are successful students. Now, predicate nouns. Let me tell you first example. Predicate nouns. Love is a virtue. Love is a virtue. A virtue. Then maybe is a blessing and Blessing in disguise. A blessing in disguise. Right? Look at here. We are learning predicate nouns. Predicate nouns. Nouns that follow linking verbs. Nouns that follow linking verbs. Linking verbs. Linking verbs as predicate nouns or known as predicate nouns. Sometimes known as predicative nouns also. These serve to rename or re-identify the subject. Re-identify the subject. If the noun is accompanied by any indirect modifiers such as articles,